I think we are ready to get started. It is exactly top of hour. So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Jessica Duncan, VP of Sales at LighthouseAI, a pharma solutions company, and we welcome you to today's webinar, where we are introducing LighthouseAI and demonstrating how you can significantly reduce your compliance challenges so that you can protect your revenue, mitigate your compliance risks, and reduce your costs. We're delighted to have you join us today, but before we dive into the main content, we would like to provide you with some additional information to ensure you have a smooth and enjoyable webinar experience. First, please note that this webinar is being recorded, and we will make it available to you on demand at a later date. You'll receive an email notification with a link to access the recording once it's been made available. By default, all attendees' audio and video are muted to minimize background noise and distractions. As well, the chat function will be disabled for today's webinar. However, you can submit your questions at any time via the Q&A feature, which can be found at the bottom of the Zoom window. Our team will address your questions during the designated Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. Once again, thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoy the webinar and find the information valuable. And to introduce today's speakers, we have Sumeet Singh, who is the founder and CEO of LighthouseAI. Sumeet brings boots on the ground experience to LighthouseAI's product development, having directly managed compliance activities for multiple drug wholesalers for the first 5 years of his career and growing pharma solutions for the last 7. It is from his experience with pharma solutions that he has launched LighthouseAI. And presenting with Sumeet today is Braddy, the CTO of LighthouseAI. Rick brings 4 decades of technology, product management, and business experience to the LighthouseAI executive team, having worked with Fortune 500 companies as well as tech startups. And I think we're ready to get started now. So Sumeet.
Well, thanks so much for the introduction, Jessica. Thanks to Rick for joining me today and to all of you for fitting us into your very busy schedules. So getting right into the heart of the presentation, the reason why we're putting on this webinar, the reason why we're so excited, the reason why our marketing department has probably sent you dozens of emails is simple, is that we believe LighthouseAI is defining a new category of solutions for the life sciences supply chain, right? So specifically what we're doing is the category that we're defining is compliance automation. Compliance automation achieved by leveraging deterministic AI has changed the compliance industry forever. So it's almost canon at this point, the quote from Mark Andreessen, probably about 20 years ago, that software is eating the world. As a venture capitalist, he was very focused on trends in the business world as well as, in every day-to-day life. And what happened about 20 years ago, after the dot-com boom and bust and thereafter, slowly but surely, software started permeating every aspect of our lives, whether we know it or not, whether we like it or not, from social media to Google's dominancy and everything like that. It just kind of took over. And so what we see as this new trend is AI is going to eat software, right? And it's already impacting large swaths of all multiple sectors of the economy and large swaths of society, really. ChatGPT can pass the bar exam. ChatGPT can spin up a graduate level paper in a matter of minutes. And so we feel that compliance is not immune to the impact of AI, and specifically that, those organizations that capture AI, that leverage AI now, are going to be better set up for the future in terms of reducing costs, reducing risk, and protecting the revenue. And so everybody on the call today, we have over 100 attendees, has probably in some shape or form felt the pain of regulation. And it's so painful because it's manual, it's complex, it's expensive, and it's always changing, right? To put some numbers behind that, really, across the 52 jurisdictions plus the federal government, there's over 80 laws that govern the life sciences supply chain. That is essentially red tape from companies doing business, right? How that manifests is over 2,000 requirements are applicable to the life sciences industry, including but not limited to, licensing, of course, but also product registration, also opioid taxes, drug take-back programs, drug price transparency reporting, controlled substance reporting, suspicious order monitoring reporting, all that fun stuff. And so when you look at the compliance journey, this is how we view the compliance journey, right? It's kind of like a 1-2 punch. You have a very specific company and facility on the left-hand side. And then what happens? The compliance journey starts. It's really a 1-2 punch. The first punch is, what do I need to do? And keep me up with the changes. The second punch is managing those requirements, right? So now that I know what I need to do, I need to get it done. And so, having run a services company that helped companies through this compliance journey manually for the last over 7 years, since October of 2015, I've seen this firsthand, right? And so what we did is we basically automate and enable this journey. We automate the first half and enable the second half. The way we automate the first half is with our intelligence product, okay? So our intelligence product is the new invention that we're calling compliance automation within the compliance automation category. And this software can now provide regulatory guidance to your specific facility, to your specific company. And the way it does it is you simply configure your facility within the software, you press a button, and just like ChatGPT, it takes a minute and it's going to deliver to you initial compliance requirements. Should anything change internally, right? We had this, 2 weeks ago, a major drug manufacturer bought a ton of assets from another manufacturer, and all of a sudden they're doing opioid, right? So they had just paid for a snapshot assessment, probably months prior, and now they're having to reassess their facility, right? So that's the old way of doing it. The new way of doing it is you just simply reconfigure your facility right in the software. Should anything change externally, right? California is talking about requiring pharmacists to have a license in addition to your pharmacy having a non-resident pharmacy license, right? New Mexico just passed drug price transparency reporting at the beginning of the year. North Carolina started requiring virtual manufacturers to obtain a license, as well as wholesalers and 3PLs and so on and so forth. Should anything change externally, those change alerts and notifications are delivered to you effectively in real time. And so they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. And so let me jump over to the demo. So really quickly, so this is the configuration for the intelligence product. You can start a new configuration. The setup is here. You have various companies, or you can pick your facility. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it really simple and run off this previously configured facility simply for the sake of time. Everything's already kind of filled out. So you go ahead and press next. This is the newer facility 1. It's a wholesaler, right? So it's located in New Jersey. These are all the applicable jurisdictions. Would you like to include, there's additional stuff that we can go over in a personal demo, but I won't waste your time here. What I'm going to do as this thing loads is I'm going to hop over to one I ran this morning, 9 o'clock this morning, for the Cary facility of the same company, right? Everything's available to you in real time at your fingertips. So what I ran here earlier was a 3PL facility. And so to kind of give you guys a good mix of what's available. So here we have all the different types of requirements that are applicable to a 3PL facility in North Carolina doing controlled substances and everything else. So you have, obviously you have the state licenses, right? But then we also dive deep enough to tell you, hey, there's a designated representative license that you need in addition to your non-resident third-party logistics provider license in the state of California, right? So all very, key information. But then you double click and you figure out, hey, you know what? No requirement match is found for New Jersey, because what you need to do is just as important as what you don't need to do. So it wouldn't be enough for you guys to be told, hey, I needed to get licenses in these 35 states as a 3PL, right? What do I not need to do to, and why? So that's what we're seeking to accomplish when we come up with no requirement matches found for New Jersey, et cetera, and so on. Theft and loss reporting, Class C pharmacy, et cetera, and so on. So then FDA reporting. So then you go on to the right-hand side, right? Just kind of scroll back to the top. Then you go to the right-hand side and see all the information available in our database. Again, we had attorneys, former regulators, and associates building this database over the last almost 2 years now. Processing time, renewal terms, what forms are applicable, what are the fees, is there a bond required, controlled substance fee, renewal fees, des rep, form qualification, registered agent, attachments and prerequisites. Double clicking attachments. These are all the exact attachments required for this application, right? So you take all that information, and in the meantime, this one that I just ran at a little bit past the hour, I guess this is Central Time. You can see it here, and this is loading results. These results are loaded for a wholesale drug distributor of controlled substances across the 50 jurisdictions, right? Including FDA reporting. So all that information done. So now you know what you need to do. Great. The next step is now you know what you need to do, and now you learn how to accommodate any changes that happen at the specific facility. The next thing is hey, what if X changes in X state, right? What if California starts requiring a pharmacist to have a license in addition to the pharmacy license? So what this research notification section does is it drives and delivers regulatory knowledge, right? Not content, knowledge, because knowledge is applicable to you and your facility. It delivers it according to your configuration, as simple as that. So it helps you stay on top. We have a very strict and regular cadence as it relates to checking on the state boards. We have paid resources like the NABP survey of law. We have non-paid resources, everything and everything in between, to make sure that we are vigilant for your company. Now, oops, timed out. Now that you know what you need to do, now it's a matter of getting it done, right? And so this is where stuff gets done. And I'm just going to do a really quick high-level overview of this. These are your requirements. One thing we found running, our services company is now 25 people, 5 people dedicated to research, and over 20 people, about 20 people dedicated to servicing companies, managing their licenses on an ongoing basis. Again, we have clients everywhere from Fortune 500 manufacturers all the way down to small mom and pop drug distributors selling into 3 or 4 states. So some of the lessons that we've learned that we've incorporated into this product, as our vice president of product management say, we eat our own dog food. One of the big pieces is KPIs, right? Tell me what I actually need to do. It's one thing to look at a spreadsheet and sort by column and do all that stuff. It's another thing to tell you, hey, we have 4 documents that are expired, or we have renewals, 3 renewals upcoming in the next 30 days. And oh, well, there you go. I accidentally clicked on it, but these are the 3 renewals that are due in 30 days, right? We have filters for company and facility, right? If you have an enterprise company, it can kind of drill down into exactly, not only what company, what facility of that company. So we have all the information ready at your fingertips. Because what happens is when your stuff is organized, it creates transparency. And when you have transparency like this, you can keep accountability of your compliance activities, right? You need to know what is going on and what needs to be done. And this is how you get that. This is how you accomplish that. Activity tracking is very illuminative. We had another company that got dinged for not notifying and not changing their facility manager at a facility, right? The thing with activities is everything to do with the requirement, right? There could be a new you're getting a license for the first time, renewing it. There's a change of facility manager. There's a change of officer, a change of ownership, whatever it might be. Those are different activities, and they each need to be tracked individually. And so this is where we account for those activities. And then you take one more step in, and you get tasked to manage those tasks on an ongoing basis, right? So I won't take too much more time because we have a lot more information to cover. But just two more buckets of information. The first one is document repository. We lock PDFs. Rick will tell you guys about the security, encryption at rest, and in-flight, ISO certification, all that fun stuff. We have expiration dates. I will never forget the time I had a California application ready to go. I'm about to submit it, and then I realized the driver's license expired, and the facility manager can't be reached, and it has to go out, a week later, et cetera, and so on. So we incorporated expiration dates for each document. We have a lock and user level permissions to make sure that all the sensitive data that you guys are managing in document repositories and email, right? Social security numbers, home addresses, background checks, fingerprint cards, all that stuff is going to be maintained, with securely and again, at your fingertips. Finally, company profile. so much data is generated at our largest companies, both at the client level, or all three, at the client level, at the company level, and at the facility level, right? You have addresses, you have contact information, you have, hours of operation, you have vendors, you have 3PL information, et cetera, so on. So that all is designed to keep you up to date with said information, right? So that kind of covers it for the demo. Again, if you guys want to dive in deeper, please reach out. And so current solutions. This is always, very interesting for me to understand when we talk to clients. And it's multiple choice because everybody knows that, there's not just one solution for this. You really need a solution stack. Is it a technology solution? Is it internal professionals, outsourced professionals, external legal, internal legal? And I'll just give a second there. And so we have not very many people responding, but let me go ahead and, okay, cool. We're just above the 3 digits now. So here we go. Let me add the poll and share results. So, so this is what it looks like across the various solutions about how somebody is how companies are solving this problem, right? Real-time data. So let me go ahead and stop sharing. So what that looks like, right, is this is our 2D images. This is why we think LighthouseAI is actually defining a new category, because there's no product, no solution, no service out there today that can deliver automated regulatory knowledge to you and your compliance department, right? On the bottom right-hand corner is a space I know very, very well, having run a services company for over 7 years. Snapshot assessments, right? Snapshots assessments are great because they tell you what you need to do. But again, things change. Things change in the external regulatory landscape every day. Things change internally every day, right? And so snapshots are only as good as the day is long. You need something to be compliant. You need something that's keeping you up to date at all times, 24/7, 365. On the left-hand side, right? So on the right-hand side, you'll see regulatory knowledge. Hey, this is what you need to do. On the left-hand side, you'll see content. Hey, this is information for you to sit your butt in a chair, consume, and apply to your specific situation, right? You have automated update notification software and services, and you have repositories. But in both situations, it takes a human brain to sit and consume and apply that to your specific situation. It's manual, it's inconsistent, it's painful, it's complex, it's expensive, it takes a lot of time, it can be inaccurate, right? All very painful problems that you don't want to be dealing with in your when you have so many requirements to manage, right? So in application, this is what it looks like in our opinion, right? You have the Lighthouse AI on the right, you have the status quo on the left. Status quo it's human-led, it's manual process driven, because that is the only thing that was available up until today. Actually, up until yesterday, 4/17 was the day we officially went generally available. So we're very excited about that. On the right-hand side, you'll see how this product will change your approach to compliance. As simply as that. LighthouseAI is makes your compliance activities technology driven. Technology first, people second, right? And so, this is how the product kind of works together, right? So you start over here on the knowledge, you have intelligence, you have to action it. That's done in management. You have accountability because you have organization, you have transparency, and then that creates accountability. And then you have ongoing intelligence. And so those three together as a flywheel is what we call holistically compliance automation, because it takes all three pieces of those puzzle to make it happen. So what are people saying? We probably demoed this product to maybe 20 companies. These are just some of my favorite quotes from a Fortune 10, drug distributor, big three drug distributor. We heard the words, "I'm close to happy tears," right? We heard stuff like, "This is badly needed. We need better tools. There's so few tools to assist us." And so that's why we're so excited about this product, is we feel like we're reducing costs for companies, we're reducing risk for companies, we're protecting revenue, but for compliance departments, we're reducing pain. And that's really what we're striving to do here. And the ROI is clear, right? For a Fortune 500 manufacturer, there's over a 200% ROI from cost reduction alone, right? From having to attend webinars, from having to attend conferences, from establishing new facilities and getting outside help to get that stuff done. Over 200% cost reduction, 200% ROI just from cost reduction, and then eliminating risk, right? Is a major tenet of this product. Fines and penalties, sure, $10,000 speeding ticket, $50,000 speeding ticket. To the largest of the companies, somebody might get in trouble or something, but it's not the end of the world. What is the end of the world is a contractual violation as a manufacturer, a failure to supply with a major drug distributor, right? It's reputational for a small fledgling drug distributor. You're unable to service your clients, your customers, right? Lost revenue. I mean, that's pretty much straightforward. Companies will not buy from you, especially with DSCSA, ATP verification requirements. Companies will not buy from you, and that will result in lost revenue, right? And so our product seeks to protect from all that. So that's what we do. And from here, I had to turn it over to Rick for the method behind the magic.
Awesome. Thanks, Sumeet. Good afternoon. So I'm going to cover our LighthouseAI products and technologies today. I'd like to begin with the LighthouseAI intelligence product we see in the upper center part of this diagram. So what is the intelligence product? It's actually an expert system. It's a deterministic AI that makes choices and decisions, like we've been hearing about earlier, using expert knowledge and rules. And as we can see on the left side of this diagram, our compliance team, surveillance team, is working around the clock, essentially looking at the regulatory environment, keeping up with the latest changes, updating the knowledge base, what we call a curated knowledge base, to ensure that the latest information is always being fed into intelligence. And so what that means is as you run your jobs, you're always getting the latest curated knowledge. And as the environment changes and the landscape evolves, it will then recognize when a change occurs in the wild, so to speak, that we've entered into this curated compliance knowledge base. Every time a change gets put into that knowledge base, the system rescans all of your facility definitions, looking for any impacts or anything that's applicable, and then it'll issue alerts and notifications about what it has found that you need to address. And as we saw, all you do is simply fill out the questionnaire about your facilities and how you do business, and then feed that into intelligence. It then does all the heavy lifting and looks through and evaluates which licenses and requirements are actually going to be applicable based on the complex questions and answer session that you completed. Intelligence then also feeds into the management product. As we saw, there's a list of licenses and requirements that need to be met. So then those can be prosecuted, if you will, by however you go about getting your licenses and maintaining licensure. Sumeet spoke about our encrypted document repo. So we have everything that is stored in the document repository is effectively double encrypted. It's encrypted at the base layer underneath us, if you will, in the cloud platform. And then we actually encrypt every document. So even if one of our employees or someone could get access to the file system, all they're going to see is a bunch of files with gobbledygook in them, so effectively, because everything's encrypted. So with that, let's go to the next slide there. So security is of paramount importance to us all. And I speak with customers all the time about their particular security needs, requirements, and environment and situations. So we chose ISO 27001 last year to represent our overall security and ISMS approach. So we've made a tremendous strides over the last, let's say, 9 months on our ISO compliance. We got our ISMS in place in Q4. We performed multiple penetration tests on each of our products in Q4, and then we got all those cleaned out, if you will, in terms of fixes. So there's absolutely no software vulnerabilities or security vulnerabilities in the software. We just passed the internal audit here in Q1, and we're scheduling our certification audit, which we're now ready for in Q2. And I'm not going to go through every one of these items, but everything you see here and more has been done in order to get us, locked down into a compliance state here with the product and the business. Next slide. So the last thing I'd like to touch on is just look under the hood a little bit at how the product is constructed. LighthouseAI is an AWS native serverless application. As we see in this drawing here, LighthouseAI is what AWS calls a well-architected application. So what does that mean? This means that we leverage all the security infrastructure and other infrastructure to deliver 4 nines of availability or high availability. What that means, 4 nines, is basically less than 1 hour of unscheduled maintenance or downtime per year. Okay, so that's pretty stringent, less than an hour of downtime a year. The other thing that it gives us is the ability to elastically scale up to handle whatever level of user workloads and activities that are needed, and always deliver a top user experience. We talked a lot about security. Here you see a number of other areas of security around multi-factor authentication and using roles and lots of layers of firewall and other network security. We also manage all of the keys using AWS KMS, and everything is encrypted both in flight and obviously at rest. So the other, I guess, thing I will say is from a backups perspective, we do daily backups. We keep 6 months of daily backups around. Those are every day replicated to a disaster recovery region across zones, across the country, in a different data center that's effectively offsite. And then we keep 2 years of cold storage in Glacier, so we always have access to the data, in case that we need it for a disaster situation or business continuity, should that ever occur. Finally, we've got patents pending since last year, and those will hopefully come to fruition here in this year or as soon as possible. But that's a quick flyby overall on the products and technologies. Happy to do a deeper dive, as discussions develop out there, and appreciate it. Back to you, Sumeet.
Thank you so much, Rick. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Great. So one last thing I want to leave you guys with before we go into the offer and before the QA. I know we're exactly at the bottom of the hour, well timed. Is this? We've been providing services to life sciences. We've engaged over 600 companies as a services company, and so when we developed this product came with all that knowledge, all that experience, all that time invested. And we developed this product with that as our foundation is the best way to put it. And so when we say that we think that compliance automation has changed the compliance industry forever, we say that with a lot of confidence, and we're very excited to see how companies are going to be leveraging this in the future. We're very excited for our partnership ecosystem, as far as companies that are going to be working with us, and so I just want to leave you guys with that. Great. So with that, we'll open up to Q&A. Q&A is in the Zoom bar, so please feel free to add those now. One of the questions that came up, 102, just a couple minutes after we started, do we use ChatGPT as a part of Lighthouse? Obviously, super interesting question, and obviously ChatGPT is all the rage right now. The problem with ChatGPT, yes, it can do all these things. It can pass the bar exam. It can type and generate graduate level papers. But the problem with ChatGPT is that it's not deterministic, right? When you want to comply with rules, there's no margin of error available to you, right? You need to know, no matter what, that this is the requirement that is necessary in California. It's not the wrong one. It's not going to give me a false positive. It's not going to give me a false negative. You need to be 100% confident. And that's why our choice of AI, reactive AI, deterministic AI, expert system, whatever you want to call it, that's why that's the base thesis of that's one of the base theses of our chosen technology is we use deterministic AI, and that's why we think that's because it's deterministic is why we think industry is going to be able to leverage it so readily and so widely. The next question is not too many technical questions, Rick, so I might just take some of these, a lot of these. With one account, can we manage multiple organizations? Meaning if we own pharmacies and wholesalers. Absolutely 100%. So the way the system is designed, both intelligence and management, is that you can configure facilities based on what is actually going on, right? So you can have multiple facilities, you can have one facility, you can have we have organizations that are looking at it that have over 150 facilities, right? So whether it's a pharmacy, a wholesaler, a 3PL, or whatever it might be, whatever the products are, the configuration of the facility allows that flexibility, whether it's a pharmacy or a wholesaler. And then the management product, of course, same thing. You can have different companies, different facilities. Each facility can have different business models. And that's why our questionnaire, the depth of our questionnaire is so important, because it goes to the underpinnings of those business models, right? It's not enough to say you're a pharmacy, because some states regulate compounding pharmacies differently than finished dose, dispensing pharmacies. Are you, doing shared pharmacy services, XYZ? So thank you for that question. Next question is FDA compliance for wholesalers, manufacturers, and virtual manufacturers. Yes, we have those requirements in there. You saw, I think during the demo, you might have seen the FDA reporting for wholesalers and 3PLs. We have reminders for establishment registrations for manufacturers. We have reminders for product registrations for virtual manufacturers. So that's all kind of baked in, both primarily into intelligence is already programmed in, and then you can put in really whatever you want on the management side. We have companies managing their business registrations. We have companies managing their tax payments, all within management, because it provides a really easy, grid, right? But it's not just a glorified Excel sheet. It's a step above an Excel sheet with workflow management, document repository, all that fun stuff. All right. Are there aspects of software that can be utilized without other aspects in terms of pricing? Good question. We try to price and work with organizations to make sure that the product is valuable, and because what really happens is there's a holistic product suite approach that really provides a lot of value. I just noticed I can be answering these questions live, and so you guys can see the question, I think. So are there aspects to the software that can be utilized without? So for example, intelligence and management, how those two products work together. When you're working in management, you're working on a license. Our intelligence product has data about that specific requirement. Let's say you're renewing your Alaska license for your Newark, New Jersey facility, right? In management, you're able to pull intelligence data applicable to that Alaska license, right? So you need to know where the application needs to be shipped to. You need to know the size of the check that you need to cut. You need to know prerequisites, attachments, all that fun stuff. So that information is housed in intelligence, and that information can be delivered to you while you're working on it in management. So we really like the idea of using it as a holistic approach. But in terms of pricing and everything, I'm sure that's something that we can work out. Are we obligated to purchase a product if we lock in a discount? Absolutely not. It's just a discovery session. You can apply it to your facility. You can figure out, how our product can be applied to your specific situation, the number of your facilities, the number of your companies. We make it really friendly and easy, and it's a quick session. We just need to take you through a discovery session. As simple as that. So I'll leave that there. If we already have Atlas, will LighthouseAI take over the service, or will this be a separate subscription? So great question. Thank you for pointing that out. We actually rebranded our Atlas platform to LighthouseAI Management. So Atlas and management products are exactly the same. They just got rebranded and relifted as a part of our GA motion, making it generally available to industry as a whole. that was the change. So that the subscription to management is still included. The subscription to intelligence that provides regulatory knowledge, that's an additional subscription. And so just reach out to Jessica or, hello@lighthouseai.com. Will you post a link for this recorded meeting? Yes, you'll get communication within the next 48 hours from our marketing team to discuss that. Next question is does it run in the background every day, or does it email us on new regulatory requirements? So it runs in the background every day, 24/7, 365. It's software. It can do that. Humans can't do that. At least maybe Jessica can, but regular humans can't do that. So when you're when we tell you that we're looking out for you guys, that we have the surveillance monitor running, that's always going to be running, and it's going to deliver notifications. We don't have notifications set up via email just yet, I don't think. So that can be configured. Just let us know that's something that you want. But I don't think that's a default setting or anything like that. You have to purchase the whole package, or can you subscribe to just the regulation notification? You can subscribe to just intelligence. It's really only valuable if you configure the facilities and you have your facilities uploaded in there and it's running 24/7, 365. So intelligence can be purchased separately than the management product. But again, there's a lot of value when those products are working together because of data flying back and forth and so on and so forth. But you can absolutely purchase each product separately. Pricing, is pricing dependent on the size of the company? We're down to 8 questions. Pricing is actually dependent on the complexity of the company. So primarily the way we price is on number of facilities. If you have 1 facility, we have a list price. If you have 10 facilities, we have a list price. So just reach out and we can configure a quote for you pretty quickly and easily. 7 questions. Are there plans to make this global or just the US? The 5-year plan is to make it global, right? Because companies in Argentina need to know what the requirements are shipping across, states in Argentina. But right now, we're wholly focused on the US, US manufacturers, distributors, pharmacies doing business in the US, as well as importing and exporting. But as far as international, not quite yet. Our next project will probably be Canada, because we've heard back from a couple of companies that do business in Canada, but not just yet. All right, this is a long one. Besides regulations and facility updates tracked by the system, does this also provide information on the requirements on controlled substances, state and federal requirements? Absolutely. So what you actually might have seen in the results, or some of you might have seen in the results for wholesalers at the Newark, actually both, the Cary, North Carolina 3PL, as well as the wholesaler in Newark, New Jersey, both of those states had controlled substance selected. Not only do we tell you controlled substance versus not controlled substances, we dive even deeper than that. We determine requirements based on what schedule of controlled substances. And if it's Schedule 2, we tell you, is it amphetamine? Is it benzodiazepine? Is it an opioid? And so opioid product portfolio is subject to a whole host of other things, including opioid taxes, including special permits in Montana, et cetera, so on a state and federal level. So we capture all of that information. And then some example few state molecules is controlled. I think I went over that specifically. Propofol, for example, is not federally controlled, but we ask about it because it's controlled in North Dakota. So we capture all of that information and more, gabapentin and so on. Will we be at Assembia? Absolutely. I arrive on Sunday, leave on Tuesday. My schedule is pretty open, so please feel free to reach out. Running right along here, we have 5 questions left. Are we using data scouring technology for collecting different types of requirements? And are they vetted by compliance professionals? So all the information that makes it to our compliance knowledge database is vetted by compliance professionals in our organization. Again, the genetic makeup of that is attorneys, over 15 years, over 17 years combined experience between the attorneys, a former regulator, executive director of a board of pharmacy, and 2 associates are all wholly dedicated to adding and maintaining and managing our compliance knowledge database. Thank you for that question. Is there an integration capability with WMS and SOMS component as part of the package? Not quite yet. We do have a SOMS product that we will likely incorporate second half of this year, potentially, most likely first half of next year, but not quite yet. If you have any questions about that, please let us know, because we are actively working on such an integration capability with WMS and ERP systems. I think I managed. Oh, I might have already answered this question already. Perfect. Yep, already managed that one. Managed that one. All right, we actually only have one left. I manage compliance activities for my company, and although LighthouseAI is an excellent solution, it may be a threat to my job. So we fully understand that concern, but really the way we see it is compliance departments are incredibly overtasked, right? You guys are having to do all these requirements and keep up with all these changes. It's a Herculean task that nobody is really, especially at an enterprise company, it's very hard to keep on top of it. So what we really see is this is for sure a supplement to compliance departments, not a full replacement of the compliance department, right? There's so many other additional things that compliance departments need to be doing, but maybe let lapse or fall behind on. There's SOPs that need to be updated. There's trainings. There's all this additional red tape to achieve operational excellence and compliance. And so we really see this as a positive net benefit to compliance departments, more so than anything else. All right, that was 20 questions, rapid fire. Anything else, please feel free to reach out. I may respond to your questions by email instead of giving you a call back, because my voice is going to be sore tomorrow. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jessica.
Great, thank you, Sumeet. So ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the end of our webinar. On behalf of our entire team, we would like to extend our heartfelt thanks to all of you for your participation and engagement. You'll definitely want to see a demonstration of our LighthouseAI SaaS suite. So please, again, go to lighthouseai.com and click on the request demo link. As a reminder, this webinar has been recorded and will be made available on demand shortly. You'll receive an email notification with a link to access the recording once it's been made available. If you have any additional questions or feedback, please feel free to reach out to us through the contact information provided in the follow-up email. And also, please keep an eye on your inbox for future webinars and events, and don't hesitate to share the on-demand recording with your colleagues and network who you think might find it beneficial. Once again, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time and interest, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Have a great day.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the support. Bye-bye.